Namaste, everyone. Welcome. I am Ashley Turner, yoga instructor and psychotherapist. So excited to be here with today with my very dear friend Clemmy Haddon Payton, and we are here in the English countryside. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it's a really fun story because we're staying here. I'm staying here in the English countryside with some friends, and Clemmy is our chef, and we were talking. Started following each other on Instagram, and I realized that her whole story and her brand is all about cooking through recovery, and her story of recovery and how cooking and food has been an integral part of her recovery from addiction and depression, and I'll let her tell a little bit of her story. But I really wanted to bring this to you all because cooking for me and preparing your own food, I've long been such an advocate of it. I'm still getting better at doing it myself, but it's such an important part of our journey with self-care, with healing, not only ourselves and our families, but truly healing the world. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this. So welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you. I'd love if you just start by telling everyone a little bit about your background and your story and how you came to be here.
Sure. So I first started developing signs of depression when I was 10. But they didn't really fully hit till I was at senior school at 14. And I just woke up one night, overnight, and life changed dramatically. I don't know why, I don't know how, it just did. There's some very, very dark days through those years, lots of self-harm, lots of anger, massive amount of violence from my part. No one was violent towards me. I was just a very angry person and used to lash out at anyone in my way. With that, I started drinking from a young age to try to get sleep, try to forget, try to numb out. Nothing ever really worked. So it quite quickly turned into alcoholism, where you go into the insanity, thinking that it's going to fix you, it doesn't fix you. I tried to fix the depression with smoking pot, changing my body image. I was anorexic. That was only a few years ago. It was a kind of later development. I used to change my appearance, so a lot I used to dye my hair, different colours. I had piercings, I got tattoos, and none of them worked. I was still miserable, still hated life, and things got to its worst at the end of 2014, when my ex had to take days off work to look after me, so I couldn't go to work. He used to have to virtually get me out of bed and lift me into the bathroom, put me in the bath, shower me. And with the combination of the depression and the alcoholism, my body would go into a psychosomatic shutdown, and I'd go into paralysis for a few hours at a time. And that was scary. That was really scary, because I didn't know what was wrong with me, and I'd go to the doctors and I'd be told that there was nothing wrong with me. And it's all just made up. There's nothing neurologically wrong with me. And again, it was someone not believing me, which, as a depression sufferer, is always the thing that it's a constant. No one believes me, no one likes me, I'm not good enough. So it was another kind of reassurance that I wasn't loved. And thank God my ex decided that it was time that my family intervened, and he staged an intervention with them to see how ill I was. And it saved my life. It got me into therapy in the beginning of 2015. All through my teenage years, I would again, try and find these different escapes. Nothing really worked, apart from the odd weekend or half term that I'd be working, and I'd work in a restaurant. Sometimes just as a pot washer, sometimes I'd be peeling vegetables, sometimes I'd be just doing anything. As long as I was in the kitchen, something lifted. It helped me speak. It helped me find my voice. So when I was in therapy, my therapist suggested I tried to go back to cooking school, and it reignited a little flame that I had in myself. And I went to Ireland in September of 2015. I was meant to go in May, but I hit my rock bottom, the lowest point of my drinking, and all of my other addictions that came along the way to try and fix whatever was wrong with me. And so I went in September, and it changed my life. What I learned along the way was, it wasn't something that could necessarily be taught by a person, but I guess it was one of those, people talk about a higher power moment or a God moment or an aha moment. I'd wake up feeling horrendous, really angry with the world, feeling really angry at myself, hating myself. And my assignment, my dishes that morning, were either bread, pasta, puff pastry. Bread, you've got to knead the dough, and it just makes it better and better. It gets the gluten going, so you can punch this dough. And you do the same for pasta and puff pastry. You just get a rolling pin, have a big slab of butter, and just beat the shit out of it. And then you have to do that over and over again. And I just get all of this stress and this anger out, and make the most beautiful food, if I do say so. But
today, she makes the most beautiful food. It's incredible. We have some pastries back here.
It just makes life easier to handle, because I'm not going around beating someone up. I'm not breaking my knuckles, punching a wall. I'm not self-harming on it. Throwing my phone and smashing it to pieces, which happened a lot. I was making a beautiful loaf of bread, bowl of pasta, puff pastry. I would be making a tart, and it was amazing the days when I needed to be gentle with myself, because I'd be so uptight in my head. That tyranny is going on in your head, and you're in knots, and you're anxious. And
one of my therapists used to call it self-beat.
Yeah.
We're like literally flogging ourselves.
Yeah. When you're in that
beating yourself up.
Horrible moment. Yeah. And you know that you need to look after yourself, and you want to be wrapped up in cotton wool. You can't physically be wrapped. You'd have to have a hell of a lot of cotton wool to wrap a human up. But you need something to look after you and bring you down. And so it would be one of those aha moments that morning I'd have to make, a quiche, where I had to make pastry, short crust pastry. You have to be really delicate, really gentle, and you have to take your time and not, bash it or anything like that. You have to be really gentle and just bring you down. And my favourite was, for my anxiety, I'd make marshmallows. Really easy to make. And you have to just sit and watch a sugar thermometer just rise slowly for 10-15 minutes, however, depending on the quantity that you're making, till it reaches that certain temperature. I think it's 127 degrees. When it reaches that temperature, then you carry on. But you've got that 10 minutes, 15 minutes of just watching it, and you put all your focus on that. Just switch off the outside world. It's like kind of meditation.
It's definitely meditation.
Yeah.
One point of focus.
Yeah. It's nuts. And you just focus down in on that. And then you got marshmallows at the end of it. Nothing beats marshmallows. So those are the real things that really saved me, I guess. And now I still use it. I don't have to do it so consciously anymore. I just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I go into that meditative state. I either focus on the exact thing I'm doing, and I will focus and put all of my energy onto that one thing, or I will be focusing on it, but I will let everything that's going on, the craziness that goes on in my head, I'll just let it out. And that it can just do whatever it wants. Yeah. And just get it out of the system.
Mm-hmm.
And just let it go crazy for as long as it wants until I finish that dish. And there it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. That dish is done, the head is done. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You move on to the next one.
So you really found the therapy of cooking.
Yeah. I don't go to therapy anymore.
Really?
I was in therapy. The most recent stint was for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I was in therapy. I had a counsellor from 14 to 18.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a therapist anymore.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, what I love that when I heard Clemmie's story, that I love so much, is that you're really speaking to kind of stumbling erroneously or unknowingly upon the mind-body connection.
Yeah.
And how using your physical body is a metaphor for psyche.
Yeah.
And so one of the things when you're talking about kneading the dough and pounding the dough, that's actually something I teach in my trainings, in my workshops, called anger work, that, again, I learned from my teacher, Mona Miller, called bashing. And she would have us with a tennis racket or a wiffle ball bat there, and I do this with all my students in our intensives. And because we need to get the emotion and the energy out of the system.
Yeah.
So, another term she had was called rinsing, to just purge it out, clear it out, because we're holding all of that, whether it's anxiety or anger or, speaking about maybe things growing up and traumatic experiences or just the natural emotions that arise, clearing that out of our system physically.
Yeah.
And talk therapy is not just enough for that.
No. And I used to get quite twitchy in my therapy sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm not an artistic person. Give me paints and a piece of paper, I cannot draw or anything like that. The only thing I can do is cook. But in therapy, I couldn't always cook in my therapy sessions. Sometimes I did.
Right.
Sometimes I'd be allowed to.
That's amazing.
It's pretty cool. But other times, I'd just sit on the floor of my therapist with some wool and I'd fingernail it.
Mm-hmm.
Or make, friendship bracelets on the floor. Because if I was concentrating too much, I couldn't get the words. I couldn't find the words. So I'd sit there on the floor, hunched over, and I'd be doing this, and everything would just come out.
Pour out. Yeah.
It's kind of getting into the subconscious.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
That you're really,
just
letting it flow.
And the body is a vehicle for tapping into the subconscious, into the unconscious, and letting that unconscious material rise and pour out. So there's a couple things that I really want to, highlight here that are so fascinating. Again, number one, the body connection, moving it through, and also the metaphor that you mentioned when she was telling me her story. I was so intrigued because here she's getting the anchor work out and literally a punching bag of this big kneading the dough, or the gentleness of the pastries and the metaphor of that, of really being delicate and being so tender and gentle with ourselves. So actually having in-depth psychology, we would call it, you're actually personifying that. Like you're bringing that into fruition. You're activating a gentleness. You're actually being gentle. You're not just psychologically, emotionally thinking about how you can be gentle with yourself, be softer on the inside, which is true, but physically, what does it look like? You're physicalizing it. What does it look like to be more gentle with yourself? What does it look like to pound it out and get it out and clear it? Or the one pointed focus of the marshmallow thermometer and just that honing in, and that will also, charge, help to anchor the mind.
Exactly. Gives it a focal point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so the other thing I really want to highlight about this story, and when I heard her story, I just really wanted to bring this to you guys because cooking has everything to do with the first chakra energy. We were having a whole conversation about the chakras earlier, but the first chakra is connected to our, well, first of all, it's the physical identity, it's our physical body. So anything having to do with our physicality, our safety, our health, our vitality, including, of course, food. So everything having to do with food, nutrition, cooking, feeding ourselves, being fed, because the first order of business when we're born, the first chakra, the first priority is just to survive.
Yeah.
And the way that we survive is eating, eating food, drinking water. And in the first year of life, couple years of life, that's done for us. We have to depend on other people. And then as we mature, we learn how to nourish ourselves and how to nurture ourselves.
Yeah.
And cooking is our primary source of self-nurturance, of nourishing, of really building a sense of inner security and inner safety, knowing we can rely on ourselves to take good care of ourselves. So when you're cooking for yourself and when you're cooking for other people, you're really giving them love, you're really giving yourself love.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. I do a lot of teaching as well, and quite often it's to teens who are just ready for a laugh and running around,
Right.
and they don't really care what they're doing. And I have to kind of take them back, and I'm just like, just pretend this food is your baby.
Yeah.
You've got to love it and nurture
Yeah.
it, and then it's going to taste nice. And it's it. And doing it for your body as well. Battling anorexia. For me, it was a lot of it was just I hated the sight of myself. From drinking, I put on loads of weight, and then I had that sudden wake up call and saw myself in the mirror. I was like, oh God, I'm hideous. So I stopped eating, and then there were days that I would have that absolute terror of food, of what was in my food, what was going into me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of the beautiful things of cooking for yourself and cooking for other people, is you know exactly what's going in there, and the main ingredient is love.
Mm-hmm.
That always has to be. Your food's going to taste rubbish if you don't, if you're not putting it all into it. There's just not going to be any flavour. You can tell when there's a dish that's been cooked with love.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how, but you can
It
taste it,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of get that energy from it. And it helped. It helped me, at least with my anorexia, knowing what was in there and having a kind of confidence in myself that I'm not going to kill myself by eating, avocado and poached egg on toast. It's not going to kill me. It's only going to do me good. Okay, maybe if I go to Domino's or have a Chinese takeaway every night and every meal like I used to, that's going to kill me because I'm not being kind to myself. I'm not putting good food in. I'm not making it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I know what's going into my food and that I'm making it with love, all you're going to get is love.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that pure exchange of love. So when you're putting your own energy and your time and your effort into your food, and then you're ingesting that food, it's a pure exchange, and you're
just love.
really investing in yourself and
about love.
pouring love into yourself.
Still love yourself.
So that's our basic message for you today is please start cooking for yourself and really nourish yourself. And listen, I go to Whole Food Salad Bar all the time. Please try to commit to at least 1, 2, 3 nights a week where you're actually making your own food. But what would you say are 3 things that you would really love to offer, your 3 biggest tips for people that are struggling with maybe addiction or just emotions, maybe depression, anxiety, but it's the challenges of life.
Yeah. Well, my first will always be to talk. Not even talk, shout, scream out loud. Tell people that they're struggling and get the help that you need. I struggled for 12 years. I kept it hidden for 12 years and battled on my own, and I would never, ever, ever, I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. Talk until you're heard. If you're not believed by one person, tell someone else until you're believed. Because it's a very desperate place to be when you're battling on your own. Talk as much as you can.
And not necessary, because there are people.
There is always someone to help. there's always someone to help. And I guess it kind of ties into the second one, which would be, as well, like sharing your story, sharing your experiences. I share my experience with everyone. I share how cooking has helped me. Because one little thing that you do could help another person. That's one thing that I've always said about my blog, about my Instagram, whatever I do, about my talks. If my blog can help just one person, that's job done.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to share your experiences, share how you've got to where you are, share how you changed it. Some people do it through art, some people do it through music, some people do it through drama. I do it through cooking. And I share the processes. That's very important. And then I guess, like we've been covering, I guess the third would be cook for yourself. Put your energy into cooking. Put everything you have into your cooking. Use it as a coping mechanism. Don't self-harm, don't drink, don't drug. You can do whatever you like. But I ask you to try. Just that once. When you're going for the razor, going for the bottle, going for the lime, going for Tinder, going for whatever is your destructive coping mechanism, just take that split second and go, maybe I'll just cook something first, and I'll try it, and maybe that will work, maybe that'll help. And, I've posted some recipes on my website that help me in different aspects when I'm struggling. I've got my marshmallows. My anxiety marshmallows are on there.
They're on the website.
They're on the website.
Yeah, we'll put the link below.
Yeah, I think I've got a bread recipe on there as well.
Yeah, bread is baking is so good.
Anything like that, it doesn't matter how it turns out. It doesn't matter whatsoever, as long as it has changed how you feel in a constructive way. It can taste like crap. Sorry, it can taste horrendous, but as long as it's changed the way your mind's working to a more positive view, you can go over it and practice it again and again until it tastes great. If it's helping your mind, just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Cook for yourself, love yourself.
Yeah, I mean, what you're talking about is that it's a transmutation. It's a way of really turning the lead into gold, which is what we talk about all the time on here, the alchemy of turning those destructive tendencies or destructive thoughts and emotions literally, like cooking, because cooking is the ultimate alchemy of putting all the ingredients together, churning it, adding the love, and in traditional alchemy, the number one most important ingredient was the state of mind of the alchemist. So as Clemmy's been saying, like pouring yourself into it and then channeling it into a constructive way, and then you get something out on the other side that's actually so delicious or really nourishing. And
you can't surprise yourself. You can't surprise yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. What a pleasure. So Cooking Through Recovery, all the links are below. Please leave a comment with how cooking or how food has affected your life, tips that you have, recipes, your favorite blogs. Leave them all below so we can share as a community. And namaste. Thank you so much. Yay. Hopefully you'll be lucky enough to try one of Clemmy's and the pastries or the food. I'm very lucky to be eating it every day.